Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Daniel's Security Academy. Today we have the question, will ransomware stop anytime in the near future? And for explaining this, I'm going to talk about what is ransomware, like some examples, why is it so popular and effective, and at the end I will give you an outlook, what I think is going to happen. Let's start with what is ransomware. Ransomware is the most popular malware in the past years, which is pretty much a malware that encrypts the data on a computer or a system, like a server, which makes those documents or data in general unavailable for the user because they are encrypted. And the only way to make those files or data accessible again is by decrypting those files. And you need to have the private key of the encryption to decrypt the files again. And in order to get this private key, you either need to pay the ransom money to the hacker, who are usually asking you for some ransom money, or you need to hope to get the key somehow manually. However, even though when you pay the money, which is usually done in Bitcoin or some other cryptocurrency, to ensure a anonymous transaction for the hacker. Even if you pay the ransom money, there is no guarantee the hacker is going to give you the private key to decrypt the files. So he could just walk away with the money. The manual way to find the key by trying or somehow finding it is very, very slim. So you will probably need to rely on something else than your luck of finding the key. And usually a computer gets infected by a phishing campaign that opens like a backdoor to your computer, and the hacker uses his command and control server, which is centrally somewhere, to send some kind of instructions or other malware like the ransomware malware to your computer and execute it. So you as a victim, you are trapped pretty much. Let's talk about some ransomware examples. I have 4 examples here, which had some popularity during their active phases, and I'm trying to give you some context around each of those. The first one is WannaCry, which is a computer worm started in around 2017, and the WannaCry was focusing on end users, home users, like you and me, and would usually ask between $300 to $600 depending on the Bitcoin rate at that time. And the target was different SMB vulnerabilities in Microsoft systems. And WannaCry was a very, very successful ransomware. The next 2 examples both were executed a year before, in 2016. So we have Loki, for example, which spread via a Word attachment in emails, which were disguised as invoice documents. And they used macros within the Word documents to execute the ransomware. So what they did is, when you open the Word file, it would show you some content and pretty much a button. Okay, if the content you're seeing is not what you expected, click here to enable macros and the content will be correct. And yeah, usually the non-IT people were like, okay, I'm just gonna click it. It doesn't look correct right now. And by enabling the macros, you gave the permissions to the ransomware to just start ahead. And the decryption keys for Loki were generated on the server side of the hacker. So it was pretty much impossible to do a manual decryption and to find the key. So yeah, that's one of the bad things about Loki. Another example from the same year as I just said is Petya. This one targeted the master boot record of your hard disk, the MBR, and overrided the bootloader and would restart the system afterwards. And this one was mainly distributed via PDF attachments and documents, which then executed the malware in the end. So we have seen now Computer Worm, which uses Microsoft SMB. Now we had the Word file with the macros. We have PDFs. So a lot of different techniques to get onto the system. The fourth example I want to bring in is probably the most popular one, even though it is not the main focus of the campaign. So the campaign I'm talking about is Emotet. And the ransomware used within the Emotet campaign is Ryuk. I'm actually not too sure how you pronounce it in English correctly, but RYUK. And Emotet was pretty much the most effective malware campaign in the past 5 years because so many enterprises, governmental institutions were infected via Emotet. And even this year, again, after we've believed Emotet went silent, they started a new wave of infections. So Emotet is again active in 2022. And it is pretty much a suite of malwares to infect victims. So it will come with a phishing email, like just most of those malwares come to your computer. And then it will install a bunch of, or will execute a bunch of malwares, like crypto miners, or looking for crypto wallets, looking for online banking credentials, looking for some administrator credentials, for example, in enterprise environments, where they were looking for the domain administrator credentials to pretty much spread across the entire Active Directory domain in your enterprise. And Ryuk was just one small part of the entire campaign. And as all of the ransomwares, it would encrypt the files on servers, for example, and then ask for some amount of bitcoins, which were more variable in what they ask, actually. So these were the four biggest, four of the biggest ransomwares in the past years. There are plenty of examples we had as well, apart from WannaCry, Loki, Petya, and Ryuk. But yeah, there were just too many to mention them all here. Why is it so popular and effective using ransomware? So it's a very simple thing. It is a very effective method for hackers to make quick and easy money, because there are just enough people out there which fall for phishing emails, and they become more sophisticated every day, those phishing emails. If it's phishing or spare phishing, it is harder and harder, even for IT people, to see that this is a phishing email. And on the other hand, it is also a problem because in the darknet, you can simply book or rent a ransomware attack campaign from certain service providers, just like you could do rent a DDoS attack. So it's very simple for you to run your own ransomware campaign and get the money out of it. And as this is like a very easy obstacle to go, it's only you need to find your way to the darknet via Tor and find the right service. It is also one of the reasons why it is so popular. And why is it also so infected? You only need an affected computer while you have access via a backdoor into it. You only need one of those bots you have in those huge botnets out there. And yeah, it is so many phishing campaigns going on, infecting computers, and maybe even staying silent for a long time before an actual campaign is started to those computers which were phished. So yeah, it is a plenty of resources and computers out there as the victims, as possible victims. And as I already said, it is even sometimes hard to unveil a phishing email for IT savvy people, but it's almost impossible for non-IT savvy people to see the difference between an actual Amazon email and the phishing email sent via Amazon. So yeah, it is difficult out there. Hackers will pretty much never run out of targets. As I already mentioned, there's so many botnets who are already infected, and there's so many more computers and so many more vulnerabilities they can target and infect that they will pretty much never run out of targets. And it's in the end, it's like always in security, it's a cat and mouse game. Hackers will always find new ways to disguise the malware from the security solutions, and the security solutions then have to adapt to those new patterns or techniques. Let me just give you a small outlook. So will ransomware stop anytime in the near future? No, not at all. In fact, it will keep increasing in the next years as COVID gave the threat actors an easy base to work on. Because back then, enterprises used to use this walled garden approach. Everything within the walls was secured by a firewall and some other security solutions. But due to COVID, people were working from home office, and you have more and more hybrid and remote working. So you somehow need to secure and protect and defend also those clients which are not within those walled gardens. And even though they might be not directly connected to the enterprise network because they're working without the VPN, but at the first possible stage when they reconnect to the company network, the enterprise network, the malware might just go and do a lateral movement and go ahead and just find new targets in the network and just wait until it is connected to the enterprise network. So enterprises need to increase the security capabilities and make sure they think of the correct security enterprise architecture approach. Because as it was done in the past with the walled garden approach, it does not work anymore. And after 2 years of pandemic, it must be clear to everyone now. And as we always say in security, you probably heard this term or this saying quite often. It is not a matter of if you get hacked, but rather when you get hacked and how fast you react to it. And this is the measures you need to put in place. Yeah, of course, you need to try to prevent the malware attack to your network or to your computer. But you also need to focus on detection because you will at some point not be able to defend yourself against something. And then it's crucial that you are fast in detecting it if something is wrong, and you are fast in your processes to react to those kind of situations and isolate clients and hosts, for example. So prepare your company, do your incident response processes, make sure you detect anomalies, and yeah, act timely on the systems. This is pretty much what I can give you to defend yourself against ransomware. There is no simple way of buying this solution. This will help you forever. No, it just doesn't work like that. So yeah, I hope you are going to stay safe. Let me know if you have had experience with a malware attack, like a ransomware attack, to you or to your computer, to your network, to your enterprise, and how you dealt with this solution or with this situation pretty much. So yeah, let me know what you experienced and what you think, and I hope to see you in the upcoming videos again. Bye bye.